full benefit.
Yes, sir.
I like this.
That's a really good perspective.
I heard the voice of the Lord say to me, "Who shall I send?" And I answered the Lord, "Here I am, send me."
Mm-hmm. Opposite of Tim Kennedy, knowing that he had literally killed someone before.
The last thing he sees is a dude from a special missions unit, an American, standing over him with his foot on his chest. Fucking America, man.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Rodeo Time, the podcast. We have a very special episode today. We've got the world's greatest and also a guest. That's right. Dale Brisby is the world's greatest bull rider ever to spur a bucking bull. And then we've also got Tim Kennedy. Tim Kennedy is a Green Beret. He's an Army Ranger. He's a UFC fighter. He's got multiple combat deployments, and he's got huge UFC wins. It's an incredible story, and he covers all of it start to finish in his book called Scars and Stripes. Your boy has read it twice, and I might be having to jump into it a third time. So there's life lessons in it. Please check out Scars and Stripes anywhere that you like to buy your books. I think it's also available on sheepdogresponse.com, which is his I'll let you look into it. Sheepdogresponse.com. You can buy the certain products that Tim endorses, like the low vis waist pack, where he likes to keep all of his things. If you watch my Instagram, then you need to check out Sheepdog Response so that you can get you one of those. Like to thank Rodeo Time, DaleBrisby.com. So we fixed him up with some of that apparel, and that was the only missing thing in his life, was now he's got Rodeo Time in his life. He put me through the ringer in a workout. Enough about me, enough about Rodeo Time. Let's hear Tim's story. We're in Sheepdog Response. This is home of Tim Kennedy, and this is where all the fighting happens.
Some of it, yeah. Not all of it. We fight. We are a worldwide organization that likes to fight. We do the boot scoot boogling all over the place.
Yes, sir.
So in the deserts of the Middle East, in down in South America where those human traffickers and smugglers get around, the pirates down in Africa and the Horn. Yeah, it don't matter where you go. Worldwide organization.
Sheepdog is.
I mean, we are as well, but it's
Right.
just more talking about the violence part,
Gotcha.
the fighting part.
You're ready to fight anywhere.
Dude, I like it.
You fought in a lot of different places too.
Yeah.
And you say that like it's like you've fought all over the world.
Yeah, my wife, every time she wants to kind of get saucy, spicy and
Yep.
arguing about something, she'll be like, "Man, you're not good at a lot of things besides violence." And like that. I know you're trying to be mean, but I'm gonna take that as a compliment.
Is a fight a fight, or does a fight feel different when you're in like for instance, we were talking about when you were hunting Nazis, like is there an element of added, I don't know if it's adrenaline or anxiety because you're off in a foreign land? Or in that, once you get in the zone, are you in the zone?
Hey, there's definitely a lot of overlap in all of them. Man, we got deep really fast. This is like philosophical.
Yeah, I wasn't going to shy away from it.
No,
we
I'm
went there, so
impressed,
yeah.
They like walking out to the octagon. You're walking out to a UFC fight.
Yep.
Your heart's racing. There's a dude standing across from you that wants to choke you out and knock you unconscious. So there's a consequence to losing there. Obviously, humiliation and shame. I've lost some fights, and it doesn't feel good not to have your hand raised at the end of it. But also doesn't feel good when you're in there getting your ass beat.
Yeah.
So like, there's definitely like this edge to it. On the bullfighting side, walking out at a rodeo into that arena, like your heart's racing.
Absolutely.
And you're looking at that pipe fence. Like, I don't want to get near that,
Right.
Like that same, there's consequence there.
Yeah.
And then, like you're sitting, your feet dangling off the side of the helicopter, and looking out in this weird white or green world, depending on what era of night vision you're wearing, and like there's consequence to failure. So like the rushes are different, and I think just intellectually, you're recognizing the failure equals a different level of consequence.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about the cavalry when we're having coffee and tacos a little bit ago. It's like there are times where there's nobody coming to help.
There's no
me.
cavalry, right?
And that's a different thing.
That feels different.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm curious about.
Yeah.
The only real fight that I've experienced would be like the rodeo fight.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a fan. Read the books, listen, fan of what you guys do over there. Talked about, my mom married a Night Stalker, and like I'm enthralled with the stories he has. Like I'll
They're
sit
awesome.
back.
That mission right there, those helicopters right there in that top right corner.
Yes, sir.
That,
those are Night Stalkers.
Yes, sir, they
those
are.
Miniguns.
Yep. And that crest down at the bottom, we'll go take a look at it when we're done,
you bet.
so we don't have to talk about it. It's a very special crest. That is a serial numbered. They only made so many of those pictures.
Yes.
And you had to be part of a task force that killed Zarqawi to get one of those pictures.
I saw that picture last night, and I was like, there's a story behind that. That's important.
Yeah, that's an important thing. Yeah, and that little thing down below it, that's my number on the task force that one killed Zarqawi. The number 2 bad dude on the planet.
Oh, yeah.
Bin Laden.
Oh, yeah.
And then there was Zarqawi.
Yeah, you were talking about that night was a blur.
Yeah.
In the
That
book.
was that. Not just night. I mean, it was like 36 hours of chaos. Baghdad, the whole entire city, like, I don't know what's going on, but this place is on fire because there's gunfights in every single corner of the whole entire city as we're just trying to knock off every single safe house, driving one rat to his last hole, where ultimately we drop a big-ass bomb on him. And the last thing,
500 pounds.
That's right. The last thing he sees is a dude from a special missions unit, an American, standing over him with his foot on his chest. In America, man. It's the greatest thing in the world.
What did he say to him?
I was not there because we were getting
to have a badass.
Yeah, God, I just imagine, going in the hole that Saddam was hiding in, or standing over, dropping 2 big ass bombs on top of Zarqawi, or kicking in that door and looking at Bin Laden sitting there like a coward.
Ooh.
It was horrible. But go back to 1945. We're pushing 2 atomic bombs out the back of airplanes. Cool. You like the plan of going to Pearl Harbor? There's a consequence when you push America too far.
Right.
And people forget about that.
Yes, sir.
Sure, we're arguing about the dumbest stuff right now.
Yeah.
But let's not forget, like, we'll storm beaches, we'll climb cliffs, and we will drop atomic bombs on you if you push us too far.
Yeah. So, like, dang, that was a lot. Yeah, and it happened fast. This podcast, it's gotten really.
Here we go.
There's a lot to unpack. So that all of those moments, like that night. First of all, how many clips did you take? How many magazines?
Man, we had
clips.
So a clip is a real thing. Have you seen
like I'm a gangster.
It's a new zombie show that's on HBO where that's like fungus. The Last of Us. You seen that show?
Mm-mm.
It's a pretty good show. But there's a scene at the very last episode where this little girl who's essentially has this adopted dad that's been taking her through this zombie-infested United States, trying to make it from Boston to Colorado.
Yeah. I'm familiar with what you're talking about, but I haven't seen it.
The final scene, he has this M1 Garand, and that thing takes a clip. It's rounds with this little piece of metal that the rounds slip into, and that clip goes into the top of the rifle. And you go pop, 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 ping, and that thing that shoots out is the clip.
Gotcha.
So I know like a lot of the gun people dunk on people all the time. Like a clip's not a really real thing, but
right.
But it is. Like it goes with a lot of guns. And that gun killed more Nazis than any gun ever.
Yes, sir.
So if I hear clip, I just say, that's right. That's a good word to use because that thing's done killed a lot of Nazis.
I think that I've probably got more experience with a gun than an average American because like growing up as a cowboy, Western industry, like
they're present.
But I am not going to claim to be a gun guy.
Yeah.
So feel free to correct me.
No, never. It's a tool, just like everything in here,
Absolutely.
So like, my wife, she's got a gun on her right now as she's on a field trip with the kids.
Atta girl.
That's right.
Atta girl.
Hell
yeah.
I hear my chickens out there squawking. They're like, I know there's a snake in there. A snake in there.
Here I come.
And so so I walk out with a little 410, little snake shot.
Yep.
Just a single breech. I don't need a 50 cal to go smack a And then I saw, it's just a rat snake. Come here, dummy. I'm going to go relocate you. Or I go out and the coon trap has a raccoon in it. That thing is going to get dead too. Lots of different uses, lots of different tools, and country bumpkins, they have to know how to use them. It's just a tool.
Yes, sir. Yeah, they're all loaded.
That's
know what's
right.
beyond your target, windage and elevation.
All right, important stuff.
But how many magazines did you have that night? That was I remember reading that and thinking like, oh dang, that's a bunch.
We had
I
bags.
want to say you said like 35.
Oh yeah, we had bags. We called them speedballs. We had backpacks packed with magazines and grenades. And by like 6 hours into the night,
go back to it.
We need another ball. Give me the speedball. Bring that bag in here.
Yeah, you drop it by the
it's
door.
Crazy. That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You come on target, you'd fight your way in. And once like the kind of last guy coming in, he's dropping that bag at the door because when the gunfighting starts at a building, everybody around you hears it. Right. So all of them are like, oh, I'll go get my jihad on. My so-and-so, my cousin, or, this other cell member, part of this terrorist organization, they know whose house that is. Yeah. So they're going to start mobilizing. If you look at Mogadishu, Black Hawk Down.
Yes, sir.
Like the fight started and then it just spread and spread and spread and spread. Right. And then you got Shugart and Gordon after a helicopter goes down, and they're like, there's 200 mobilized militiamen running in to kill a Night Stalker.
That gives me goosebumps, that story there.
Let him die or get down on the ground and try to save him for as long as they can. And that's what happened. So dropping those bags by the door, it's important because like you fought your way in, you're going to have to fight even worse to get out sometimes.
That to me, I think about that story often. That one and the Mike Mansour.
Oh, man.
Like those two stories to me just give me chill bumps.
Yeah. Did Dakota tell a story, Lee?
Did he tell what?
Did Dakota tell his story?
We touched on it briefly.
It's he doesn't like talking about it.
And I wasn't going to ask him. Yeah. I mean, it was his podcast that I was on, but like he brought up The Rock.
Yeah.
He brought up The Rock and looking in that guy's face right before the final few blows.
Yeah.
But that's an intense.
Marcus and him say a real similar thing. Because a lot of people want to ask Marcus, about the lone survivor.
Yeah,
and a lot of people want to ask Dakota about, how he got that Medal of Honor. And, when you read the citations, they're just words. Mm-hmm. But to Marcus and to Dakota, those were their best friends in the world. Mm-hmm. Like those were their teammates.
Yes, sir.
So when you're asking about it, they're reliving the worst moment of their life, and of not just like our worst moments are pale in comparison to their worst moment.
Yes, sir.
And like pale can't even hold a candle to it, type pale.
Right.
And, they lost their best friends in the world in one day as they're fighting to save them. And then they have the most recognizable thing about each of them is the loss of their best friends.
Yes.
Man.
Can't imagine.
Can't.
Yeah,
I just can't.
I Marcus agreed to get on my podcast too. And
what a great Texan.
Great Texan.
Man.
And I do not plan on asking him about Red Wing. Like, he wrote the book. There's a movie.
Yep. Read it. Watch it.
Read the story. Yeah. Yeah. So
it's funny that Mark Wahlberg played Marcus, and Marcus is like,
no kidding.
I said, "What's up, Marcus?"
No kidding.
And then Marcus is like, "This Phil."
Right. So the night you're going after Zarqawi compared to going into that valley, intensity wise,
different. So going after Zarqawi, all we're doing is kicking ass. We have a QRF of Abrams. Like, we have tanks and Bradleys. Like, you shoot at us, you get us buckled down inside of a house, there's a Bradley that's going to level your block.
Yes.
That's a different, we got Night Stalkers that are flying. Have you ever seen those? They take a permanent marker. They sit down in their seat. This is their targeting system. Uh-huh. They pull out the permanent marker and they draw a little circle on their windshield.
Dang.
Everywhere that circle goes, it's like a red dot. A bullet goes. And every pilot's, situated different. They fly different. They ride their stick different, right?
Because of where they position the
So, like, how they sit and how they're handling the collective and the stick and where the feet are and how tall they are. So every one of those dots is different. You get in one and, You know, it's like it's down here. You get another one. It's like up here.
Mm-hmm.
But those guys, everywhere that dot goes, a bad guy dies.
Oh man.
You know, and that's going after Zarqawi. We have those guys over us. We have AC-130s that if, you know, people started mobilizing and thinking they're going to move in behind us, they just get vaporized in the street. You know, you like start shooting at us from a building. Cool, the Abrams is going to level you. You know, it was the full force of the elite special operations world leveled against a single human.
But you didn't have that.
No, Urzgan was.
Would you call it a valley?
Yeah, it was
as you were describing it in your book. I just picture
it's
walls
it's
around
a super steep valley.
Yeah,
you know, ravine, and crazy topography, super steep inclines.
And it was also a lot longer. It wasn't 2 nights.
No, it was like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you didn't have all that backup.
No, we were just getting our ass kicked.
Because that, to me, the mindset behind it, I guess what we were talking about, the first thing we talked about, does the fight feel different? I mean, when you're hunting Zarqawi and you've got all this backup and there's so many people and you got speedballs everywhere is one thing. But like driving through this for 2 weeks, now it's an extended trip, and you had all these locals with you that you couldn't trust. And so you're constantly probably just considering what's around the next corner all day for 2 weeks. It sounds like you probably need to take like a nap for a month after that. You know, like take a month off. Like it sounds exhausting.
There's still periods of time they're just black from those couple of weeks. And I'll talk to somebody that was with me, and they'll ask me something. Like, man, I don't remember that at all. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You know, and they're like, look at my book. My buddy Mike, when I go down to pull somebody out of the Humvee that got ambushed, and we're trying to pull these bodies out, and the Taliban try to assault across the ambush X, and we're in the kill box, and my buddy Mike on the 50 cal vaporizes everybody, and I still don't understand how he didn't hit us. Just Mike Irish and myself, as we're trying to pull these bodies out. These guys are 20 feet from us. You know, it's like, I'm dead. I'm looking at the white of their eyes, and then they were there, and then they're not there. And all I hear is like, that Ma Deuce just ripping freedom from behind me, spreading, you know, like life-saving power bullet by bullet. And I asked Mike about that. He didn't even remember it. I was like, you don't remember? He's like, well, I remember I was shooting things. You know, like, you don't remember shooting over me because like we were on the same level with these guys, and you're above. I don't understand how you didn't kill us. Yeah. He's like, man, I was just shooting bad guys.
Yeah.
He didn't even remember that.
Training kicked
it was like,
in,
yeah,
like
one of the
moment?
most impressive moments of my was a moment that he doesn't even remember. It's crazy. That's war.
What fascinates me is the difference between, you know, because you guys train and everybody, you know, and it's like, can you make it through training? And you've got elite people that are able to do the workouts, which I am not one. I'm proved today.
You killed it today. Don't say that.
I appreciate that.
I'm not going to let the hash slide.
But like in those moments, there is something in Mike, in you, in those individuals, in Marcus, Dakota, beyond training that you guys, I mean, do you speak to that? Like there's individuals that do not succeed in that moment because they don't have that. What are the kids saying today? They don't have that dog in them, whatever it is.
This question's been asked for centuries. You know, what was it about the Spartans? Mm-hmm. What was it about the men at the Alamo? What was it about the men that climbed the cliffs? What was it that stormed the beach of Omaha? Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Yeah,
battling Iwo Jima, the Chosin Valley in the Korea War. I don't know, and I don't know if it's an individual or an idea. Uh-huh. I lean more towards it's an idea. They're fighting for something.
Yeah,
you know, what was Marcus fighting for? Was he fighting to survive? At the very end, he was. But before, he was fighting for the guys to his left and his right. Absolutely. What was Dakota fighting for? He was going back into the fray every single time to try to pull his buddies out.
Right.
You know, what was Shugart and Gordon going for? Like, were they looking for a Medal of Honor? No. right? When the general's like, man, I can't put you on the ground. I don't have a way to get you out. You see what's coming for him. Stay in the air. If you go on the ground, you're going to die. And they're like, put me on the ground.
Right.
Was that them? Yeah. Was it an idea?
Yes.
Yes. You know?
I think as a man who has not been in combat, and I speak for all of them, I think everyone that has not been in your shoes has the question, what would I do?
Yeah.
And that's what makes me ask it, you know, and there's no way to answer it unless you're in that situation.
So I saw this crazy social experiment. I just posted a few days ago. This guy took a gasoline can and he walked downtown and he poured it on top of himself and he pulls out a lighter and he's starting to light it and and just watch how many people walk by. And then who is this person that runs over and knocks the lighter out of his hand? And then when he goes to pick up the lighter, somebody comes and stands in his way just to block it. Mm-hmm. You know, for evil to conquer, it takes good men to do nothing. You know, well, the good man that knocked the lighter out of his hand was this really pretty little brunette. Boom! Instantly, she didn't wait a heartbeat. Dang. She jumps, knocks it out of his hand. And the guy's like, he goes to try and find it, and this other kind of just random dude walks over. He's got a backpack on. He's clearly commuting to work, and he just stands as this guy's trying to pick up this lighter. He did it again in a different city, you know, and you can't predict who that person's going to be. I posted this video a couple of weeks ago of a school bus driver having a heart attack on the bus, and the bus is full of 7, 8, and 9-year-olds, and he's sitting there. He starts going on Queer Street. An 8-year-old jumps up, starts driving the bus, saves everybody's life on the bus. Everybody would have died. They're on the freeway. He drives it, and it's slowing down. As soon as the thing starts slowing down, he starts doing CPR on the driver in the seat as he's yelling at another kid to call 911. What is that?
He's got that dog.
He's got the dog in him. Like, I don't know what that thing is, but whether it's the SEALs, the Green Berets, we've been looking for that thing.
Yes.
And there are predictors, there are indicators, but it's not foolproof. And you know, you have the Beethovens that just like, how did that guy get so good?
Like, I just wonder, you know, deep down, like Mike Mansour in that moment, grenade hits in between him and a couple of Marines, I think it was. He's got the stairway beside him that he can jump down.
Yeah.
But he just immediately jumps on the grenade. He's got no time to think about it. And you know, I'm not going to throw rocks at the guy in your book that you guys called Medal of Honor. What's his name? But like his gut reaction is just like grenade, and he jumps away.
Yeah.
And it was a flash.
There was a dead flashbang that bounced out.
And I'm just like, man, I don't know. I don't know which guy I am.
Yeah.
At all. Like, I hope that I lean forward, you know, and in a civilian, it's more like if something happens out here, do I lean forward to go towards it? I'd like to think I am.
Yeah.
You know, but I just don't know. And that's what makes me ask that question. But
it's a hard question to answer.
I think about those two scenarios, the one in your book and the Mike, and it's no, like, I'm not throwing shade on the guy in your book. You know, you guys just gave him a hard time.
Yeah, we gave him he's also a war fighter, and he has done this for 30 years. He's still doing it.
Yeah, and I'm sure he'd run circles around me, and he's killed
He could literally run
guys.
Circles. He's fast.
Yeah.
He's just a little fella.
Yeah. But it just makes me wonder in that moment, like, what I personally would do.
Yeah.
And
you got Leroy Petrie's, right? Another Medal of Honor recipient, a Ranger Regiment. Grenade pops over. He's got all his dudes around him. Grabs a grenade, chucks it back, boom, blows his arm off, right? Mm-hmm. Goes, takes a tourniquet, puts the tourniquet on his arm, transitions the gun to his other hand, and goes back to work.
Dang.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. Leroy.
Yeah.
You know? The list just goes on and on. And that's the coolest thing about America.
Yeah.
Is it's interwoven. It's in our DNA.
Right.
You know,
So because there's like glimpses of it, like even going back to, was it a gas station or a fast food joint you worked at?
Fast food place.
Yeah. You're back there
In-N-Out Burger.
And it was an In-N-Out. Dang, I forgot that.
Yeah.
And
Brianna Satterthwaite
is who you stood up for.
Yeah, man. Guy reached in, molested her. He assaulted her.
Yeah.
And I'm 16. This sure way to get fired, man.
Right.
Jump out the drive-through window to beat somebody's ass.
Right.
You know, jump over the counter and drag a dude out by his collar. You know,
That would be the dog.
that'd be the dog.
That would be the
You
dog.
know, you go back to, you know, a 15-year-old me with a 13-year-old sister, and you know, dude walks up and says something slick to my sister. I put him through a phone booth. You know, you go back a couple more, like
Yeah.
my son on the lacrosse field. He plays. He's in second grade. He's been playing on the same team, and the first year group play kindergarten, first and second. So he's like the bigger kids on there. Like he scores all the goals, right? He's like the freak, talented athlete. Him and his two buddies, Tyler and Easton.
How old is he?
He's 8.
8.
Just turned 8. And somebody went and hit one of the kindergarten kids, you know.
Dang.
And I saw Tyler, Easton, and Rolo. Their eyes looked at their little kindergarten teammate, and all three of them just started tracking that other player. Tracking him. Rolo, you're in. Easton, you're in. Both those dudes beeline for that guy and got the fastest penalty I've ever seen in the world as they just put him in the dirt.
Dang.
You know, so they got the dog in him. Some people get it naturally, and some people see it. And country guys, they have it more than anybody.
You feel like your daughters have a little bit of that too?
Man, I know they do.
I bet they do.
I know they do.
Yeah.
Don't get on the wrong side. Any of my 3 daughters, man.
I bet they do. Yeah.
Yeah. The 3-year-old's the most fearsome.
Dang.
We don't even look at her in the eye sometimes. We're like,
yes, ma'am. Snacks.
she's about your size, by the way. I'm serious.
She's taller than you, Cole. She sounds awesome. Yeah, I don't know that I'm doing that. I like to think I would as an 8-year-old. But anyway, that's just a question I feel like is in a lot of guys' minds.
Yeah, it's in mine too.
And I think it doesn't necessarily get answered until you're in that spot. The glimpse of it that I have is in the rodeo arena, and I love it. The stakes are much different. It took me a long time to fall in love with it. Now, I was always intrigued by it, but like at the beginning, I was scared.
Yeah.
Like I was doing it because my dad was. And we defined it last night in Dakotas, but like we were roughies. Like I grew up it's two sides of the arena. You're bullfighting, bull riding, bronc riding, bareback riding is on the roughy end, and then timed events are on the other end. So I'm talking about the rough stock end of the arena. And anything down there I loved. And in the beginning I was scared, but I did it anyway. And then eventually I got to where like I am obsessed with that moment right before the gate opens. And then when the gate opens, because you have fundamentals in rodeo. Like in bronc riding, you have to lift and stay back. In bull riding, you got to go out over them to the front. It's all counterintuitive. Your intuition is telling you to get away from that bull's head, but the proper fundamental is to go out over him to counteract the physics of it.
Yeah.
And so you have to suppress your emotions and then execute these certain fundamentals. And so the fight comes at you, and then in the midst of the fight, you got to execute that. And whether you're able to or not is the success. And it determines how many points you get. And so after the ride, pickup man picks you up, or you step off your bull and you hit the ground and that adrenaline's going. Did you execute or not? And that's the battle that you win or lose. The stakes of the fights that we get in are much lower than what you guys are talking about. I think maybe, though, it gives us a glimpse of that moment that you guys have.
I mean, I argue that you could pretty much go to anybody in the rodeo, especially in the rough end, and they got the dog in them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's already been, they wouldn't be there if they didn't have it.
Uh-huh.
You know, they've, the California Mid-State Fair, it's Paso Robles, California, about 20 minutes from the house that I grew up in. And you had to be real careful about the words that you use there, because you use the wrong word, you're in a fist fight.
Yeah.
You know, that's just how it is. And not because everybody's looking to get in a fight, you know, but there's a consequence. It's like everybody had the dog in them.
Right.
And it's definitely lacking in a lot of places in this world right now. It's lacking in education.
Yes,
where
sir.
teachers are going to stand up to protect their kids like they did Nashville. God bless those 3.
Dang.
You know, and those 2 cops that went and put that dude, sent that guy to hell. And, you know, it's needs to happen in churches again, where I don't know if you're religious, you know, but we've been so long hanging back. And I believe in grace and I believe in kindness, you know, but I also believe in divine, truthful justice. Mm-hmm. There's right and a wrong, and there's a consequence for right and wrong, you know, and, you know, you come into the temple and start charging taxes, I'm going to flip your tables.
Yeah.
You know, and that's all right.
Yeah. Dakota and I talked about that last night about David. The Bible says that David was a man after God's own heart. But whenever he was trying to woo the king's daughter, he went and he's like, he needed to kill 100 Philistines. He did 200 and brought back 200 foreskins, or maybe it was 300. But essentially what that means is he cut their off. Yeah. Like that's
he's a
like,
savage.
He's a savage. He's a man, but the Bible says it's a man after God's own heart, but he was a savage.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. The Nashville video, that blew my mind. That was smooth.
Yeah,
did that remind you of that? Like just how quick they go around the corner?
Made me so happy. I took both the guys that actually put rounds into the active shooter, and I put their timestamp videos, their body cams, overlaid at the same moment. So they came in from different spots, and they intersected at the hallway, but it watches them as they go through this whole entire building. And from the time that he gets the keys to enter the building from the teacher, and she says, hey, we're still missing these 2 students. And he says, yes, ma'am. First thing he says, from that moment until he kills the bad guy, until he kills that active shooter that just killed 3 kids and 3 teachers, from that moment, yes, ma'am, till rounds on target, the only thing he did was say push. He'd get behind a cop and say push. You see a guy stalled out in a hallway, he'd say push. He'd walk up and somebody's waiting for a second to go into a room to clear it, he'd say push. And all he said for 75 seconds was push, 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 pow.
Had that dog in him.
Had the dog in him. That's right.
Damn.
That's right.
We needed him and Uvalde.
Yes, we did. It took a minute, but there was a man that had a dog in him and went and borrowed a shotgun from a barber to get inside. BORTAC, Border Patrol, stud.
Yeah.
So there's mass psychosis of fear. It's the most contagious and most dangerous thing in the world is when a group of people all start responding in fear together.
Did you ever witness that?
Oh, yeah, I've seen it many times. I mean, everybody
probably more in the enemy.
Well, everybody saw it in 2019 and 2020 and 2021. Mass psychosis of fear responding to something that's not really that dangerous. Where we shut down the whole entire world.
Yeah.
Well, you can see that in small examples and micro examples in a single room where you're like, was that gunfire? Was that gunfire? You know, like, oh, let's just go hide. Like, you know, like, let's deny entry. Like, no, go get a gun, go find that guy.
Absolutely.
You know, it's different. And there's nothing more dangerous than the disease of fear.
But did you witness it like in moments like in combat, like, and that's why I say it's probably with the enemy. Yeah, imagine or were they all kind of dogs too? Most of the guys you're going against.
A lot of those guys were foreign fighters, well trained, well equipped by the Iranians, and they were there to fight.
Yeah,
they were.
Yeah,
Were
the ones y'all went.
Were was the verb.
Yeah, and then you go down to freaking South America.
Yeah, that's right.
To hunt Nazis.
Yeah, I don't like them so much.
Right. That because you volunteered for that.
Just imagine. Okay, so I'm a professional fighter, Green Beret, a sniper, Iraq, Afghanistan, South America already, and then I get a phone call asking. This was literally the call. Hey, is this Kennedy? I was like, yeah, Tim Kennedy. Yes. You speak Spanish? Like, yeah.
Poquito.
Yeah, poquito. Más o menos. And they're like, can you fly drones? Yeah, I've been flying drones for a while. But do you know how to use ground penetrating radar? I was like, yes, I do. and you've hunted people. I'm like, my whole life, that's all I've done for the past 10 years is hunted people. And they're like, would you be interested in helping hunt Nazis in South America? And, those are some skills that we need. A Spanish speaker that can fly drones, use ground penetrating radar. It's familiar with the AO. And I was like, best call I've ever had.
Yeah,
in my
I was
life,
about to say.
You're talking about the best call. It's like, let me fix my erection first, and then like, yeah, hell yeah. I couldn't say yes fast enough.
Right.
Yes.
You're probably like mid questions. You're just like, all right, whatever you got, I'm in.
Yeah,
like, I don't know what the question is yet.
But you finish with hunt Nazis in South America? Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah. Damn. So how long were you down there, though?
Man, 2.5 years.
2.5 years?
Yep.
I forgot that part of the book.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
That is like
Colombia, Brazil, Argentina, Chile.
Good heavens.
Yeah.
I forgot that part of the book. 2.5 years. I thought it was like 2.5 months.
Nuh-uh. No, I don't like that.
So you're what's it like being face to face with a Nazi?
So it's a weird thing. This like second, third generation radical, this extremist, the VEO, a violent extremist organization, they're not geographically separated from the ideas, because the idea you can carry anywhere with you, right? Like you can be a radical anywhere that you go.
Absolutely.
But it's been stuck. Like this idea has been captured in an echo chamber, and it's just been getting worse and worse and worse.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, right. So they're more crazy.
Really?
Like, I don't know how many, if you went back to 1939, 1940, 1941, did you see a bunch of dudes with SS tattoos on their neck? Did you see swastikas burnt into their chest, swastikas tattooed onto their legs, palm leaves tattooed on the inner arm? No. Like, they had on their uniform and their assholes.
The idea grew.
It got deeply rooted into their identities.
Dang.
Yeah, dang. Yeah, they're assholes.
Are they just down there trying to live and survive, or are they down there like being evil still?
I mean, given the opportunity, they'll be evil. Like they're evil ideas. Period. There's not a redeemable thing. Don't care how impressive you thought Hitler was as a public speaker. He's an evil person. I don't care how impressive you thought his strategy was in the Blitz invasions. I won't ever say a positive thing about one of the most evil humans.
Absolutely.
And the only thing that is left from him are these ideas. And so I want these ideas to die like he did.
Yeah. So you made it out of that. Mm-hmm. Did you, and if I need to cut this question out, that's fine, but did you work with Operation Underground Railroad? Is that what took you to Houston to sex trafficking?
So I worked for a bunch of organizations
to fight sex trafficking,
to combat human trafficking. Probably a half a dozen different counter human trafficking organizations in the NGO world, and some of them are great. Mm-hmm. Some of them do great things. All of them are I think all tried to start making a difference, but when you're doing a really hard thing that the rest of the world is, with Epstein, and there's a lot of attention on it right now, and that attention I think gives the unhealthy version of celebrity, where it's like, we're rescuing kids, it's like, that's not what's happening. Like your soul.
What do you mean?
It's the hardest job in the world to actually make a difference.
Gotcha.
And if you're glorifying what you're doing, it's kind of a disservice to how hard that job is, and how much it takes from you. It's there's not a winner in this.
Is there just, I imagine there's probably a lot of people that really want to act like it doesn't exist.
For sure. That's just denial, but denying that evil exists doesn't mean that evil doesn't exist. It
Right.
just means that you're ignorant and stupid and,
Yeah.
and a denier. In this, when I say there's not a winner in this, you go and rescue one of these girls. First of all, she's poor.
Mm-hmm.
She came from a home without a father.
Yep.
She ran away when she was 12 or 13. These are all probable statistics for this person.
Yes, sir.
There was drug addiction in her home. Her mom might have even been in sex work. And what, do you take her back to her mom?
Yeah.
Like, that's why she left in the first place.
Right.
The reason that she went and found this pimp, then this pimp then took her to a trafficker, was because it was a better option than what she had. And now arguably her quality of life might even be better. Like, we want Liam Neeson stories where there's like this really pretty white girl that got kidnapped, right? And she's about to get sold because she's a virgin to some Middle Eastern that's not it.
Yeah.
And then even if you go and save this little girl that's been a runaway from a drug addict home, you have you put her in a halfway house and then try to get her clean and then try to put her back where. There are success stories, but that girl, there's a billion of them already out there. And for the trafficker, you taking her away cost him nothing. Yeah. You took kind of like we'll use fruit. I've used this analogy, this metaphor to try to explain it. If you walk into a supermarket, the supermarket is the sex trade, and you walk into the stand of peaches. You can pick any peach that you want. You can have a young, tart, firm one, right? But also in that stack of peaches, there's kind of like that older one that's a little bit soft. Yeah. And you rescue any one of those, I can just walk out and pluck another one and put it back on the stand, and it costs me nothing. Yes, it costs me very, very little. And arguably, that old one that I'm happy to get rid of, I can just replace her with the new one. Yeah. So we, as counter human trafficking operators going in to try to rescue these girls, you're not actually making an impact. You're making an impact by taking somebody out of a situation that's terrible, and maybe that might be a meaningful moment for that one person. Yeah. But that grocery stand's still in business. Right. Right. And you probably just perpetuated the same cycle of them going and getting a new peach because he has so many beds, he has so many so many pimps, he has so much muscle. He can only traffic so many. Yeah. So he just fills it in with another younger, newer one. You might have just perpetuated the same cycle of him going and getting a new girl, a younger girl, to put her back into the cycle. So, that sucks.
So what's the solution?
Demand has to go away.
Demand. Yeah.
We need dudes to stop being evil mother.
Yeah.
And when we find one that is, dude, put him in the street, tar and feather him, and then hang him.
Yes, sir.
Cool. You want to mess with a little kid?
Yeah.
Like, you're a pedophile? I'm going to take you into the street. I'm going to burn you alive.
Absolutely.
And everybody's going to watch you.
Yes, sir.
Like, you want to take the palate, the desire from somebody? As long as there's demand, how long is the drug trade going to exist?
Yes, sir.
Forever.
Right.
Forever, period. Right? And we now have a palate for it, so there will forever be a demand for drugs.
Yes, sir.
There's a palate for there is an industry of evil people wanting young kids. And until that goes away, I don't know how you can close down shops, you can make arrests and those but until society changes, until we remember what it means to be a good human. And I would just think, let's go 1810. Right? Back, little westernish.
Right.
You find out that somebody is messing with a kid in town.
Yeah.
What would happen to that guy?
Probably just get shot.
Just get shot.
Yep.
Right. That's it.
Yeah.
Judge coming after the guy that shot him?
No.
He's just going to get shot. What's going to happen to his body?
Just thrown out.
Just going to be left in the dirt. It's just going to rot on the outside of the city. It's going to get picked apart by coyotes. Buzzards are going to come, start in the asshole and the eyes, and work their way in.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
That's it. But now,
they serve 3 years and get back out.
They don't even.
Yeah. There's a preview for a movie that just came out that I think it's Jake Gyllenhaal, and he's goes back to save a guy. Yeah. Maybe it was an interpreter or something.
Yeah, it was his interpreter, and it's based after the evacuation of Afghanistan.
Right. So immediately I was just thinking I think Tim Kennedy did that. Or Tim Kennedy did do that.
That photo right there behind him.
Yeah.
That's us on the tarmac in Kabul at HKIA during the evacuation of Afghanistan.
So that would be, I feel like that's another thing a lot of people might like to act like doesn't exist, you know?
Right, they've been denying it for the past year and a half.
That they didn't just, because I bet there's some good dudes that helped y'all.
Oh, man,
that just
best.
got
the commandos,
yeah.
the Afghani commandos. It's the Afghani special forces. Dude, those guys had deployments after deployments after deployments, trying to protect and fight for their country.
Mm-hmm.
So their daughters could go to school, so that they could, so they didn't have to live under the dictator rule that is the Taliban, the corrupt, flat evil that they are.
Because it seems like all of the military books from the last 20 years describe, at some point they'll reference having to train those guys.
Yeah.
And a lot of the vibe is they didn't really want to be trained, and then when the hit the fan, they're out the door. But there had to have been a percentage of them guys
No, that's not true.
that had the dog in them.
I'm going to use this green beret coin. This is our order of movement as we're driving down the road.
Uh-huh.
Guess who this first vehicle is as we're driving this way?
Those are the
That's right.
Afghanis.
Nah. Did I as the green beret put them there?
No.
No. They asked to be there.
So they did ask to be there.
They asked to be there.
I thought.
No.
Okay.
No, those commandos wanted to be the first vehicle in. They're going to get shot first.
I got you.
They drive over the pressure plate. They're going to get blown up.
I got you.
Yeah, the disparaging propaganda of like these people weren't brave enough to fight for their own country, no, we never set them up for success, and especially in the fall, like how fast the Taliban had surrounded the whole entire country of Afghanistan, preparing for an invasion the moment that we started pulling out.
Yeah.
So when we said, hey, here's the date that we're going to be leaving, they're just chomping at the bit like a horse ready to go back to the barn after a day of work. Like it knows where it's going. It's been there before. They were raised there. And he, like the moment that gate opens,
yep.
It'll take its bit and put it in front of the teeth and to go straight back.
You bet.
That's what they are doing.
So my assumption would be like, of percentage-wise, like 20% of these were choosing the front. But is that flip-flop? I'm asking for an education. Like, would it be more like 80% of these guys had the dog in them, and then there was maybe 10, 20 that didn't want to be there?
It's the same as us.
Gotcha. Okay.
Or you look at the American military.
Mm-hmm.
What percentage have the Dakota? What percentage have
you bet
the Shugart Gordon, the Marcus Luttrell,
10-4. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
It's the same.
Yeah. And then maybe there were just like a few bad eggs that stood out for somebody that put a bad taste in their mouth, and then that's kind of the story that got out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting because I think about you guys driving through that ravine and that front truck being
vaporized.
Yeah. Oof. So, that's another fight that happened that I think would probably make me feel a little different. Oh, it's Kip. Kip is calling me. I got a text yesterday from somebody at 4 a.m. and a phone call, and usually I'm up. And usually but I wasn't up, and usually that would really frustrate me. And it was just like, hey, this is Kip, call me back. And I was like, who is but I was like, I'm going to act nice. So I call this guy back, and he was like, hey, yeah, this is Kip. So, blah, blah, blah. It's the co-founder of Under Armour. And I was so glad I was nice. Yeah. 'Cause my knee jerk was like, I wanted to be, who is calling me at 4 a.m? Well, it's this hustler who's just assumes that I was up, and it was, the one day I wasn't. Anyways, he's finally calling me back. Sorry, I didn't mean to. I'm not trying to name drop. That was just a funny moment where I was like, I wanted to be, but he had my phone number, so obviously.
It costs us nothing to be nice, though.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly. Oh, just be nice.
Right.
You seen Roadhouse?
The name is Dalton.
That's right. The name's Dalton.
The name is Dalton.
Just be nice.
Right.
Just be nice. Well, what if he says something about my mom? Well, be nice.
Yeah.
When do you not be nice?
When it's time to not be nice.
That's right.
Yeah.
But all other times, be nice. But there's a real clear line that is crossed when there's a time to not be nice. A lot of people come in we do a lot of business. We're in a lot of different worlds. We do a lot of different things, and everybody in here is nice.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this not often, but there occasionally is people perceive that kindness for weakness.
Right.
And we're just all nice. But every
Yep.
one of those dudes down that, we call it murder row.
Yeah.
Because every single one of those office is officing a dude that all he's done his whole entire adult life is violence.
Yeah.
You know, he's got a smile on his face because he's sitting here in Austin, Texas, you know, in a fun office, you know, with a bunch of fun dudes, and like life is good. But dude, that dude has the dog in him.
So I feel like, okay, if something's going to happen in this country, now is the time, because there's dudes like that have the dog in them are ready to let the dog eat.
I was just saying this. People were talking like, yeah, you guys really want to go to war against, you know, China and Russia and Iran and Syria? Man, I don't know if we'll win in 5 years.
Yeah.
But I'll know we'll win right now.
Absolutely.
You know?
That's my knee-jerk reaction. Like, who knows what 5 years from now would look like.
You're just coming out of 20 years of war. You want to go back into war? You neocon? I was like, no, that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm just not good at losing. And I don't want my kids to fight it. And I know every one of my friends out there, they're pretty good at putting people in the dirt.
There's a lot of people that know how to do it and what it's going to feel like when you do it, even if they're all just training the current young guys right now.
Yeah, you'd have a hard time not letting some of these guys just go.
We were talking about this, about you specifically, me and the interns. We were like, I wonder what it was like standing in the octagon opposite of Tim Kennedy, knowing that he had literally killed someone before. Was that something that you think that everybody that fought you after your time in the military?
Yeah, I think Luke Rockhold, who beat me, he and I actually we've talked about this for a second, and he said he thought about it, but he preferred not thinking about it.
I can imagine.
And like he stuck to his game plan. You know, he controlled distance. He was a taller, longer fighter, so you know he was going to stop takedowns, and he was going to try and fight on the outside and pepper me to eke out a decision, which is exactly what he did. So, and he's got that fight in him too.
Yeah.
So I think there's some strategic. It's also a fight. We got gloves. We're in a padded ring.
Yeah.
You know, we have a ref that's in there whose
yeah.
sole job is this officiator is to ensure that we don't get hurt too bad.
Yeah.
So that the elements of if we're out on the street and you go back and look at every one of my fights, there's not a fight I would have lost, because when you look at the fight, you're like 30 seconds, minute, 2 minutes into the fight, I'm sitting there on, you know, Kelvin Gesselm's back, a fight that I lost.
Yeah.
You know, a fight that there would have been a brick 2 minutes into the fight as he's sitting there, and he's doing the sport perfect.
Right.
And, you know, but we're doing a sport.
Yeah.
And they beat me at a sport. Those are different things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it had to work in your favor a few times.
Yeah, maybe. Like when I fought at the Fight for the Troops 3, like the big UFC Fight for the Troops event, like I know
where they're all going crazy.
Yeah, just bunch of rabid animals screaming, you know, America, USA, Kennedy, Ranger up.
Yep.
As like, what does that do to another fighter sitting in there surrounded by 160th and 5th Special Forces Group guys?
Yeah, doesn't help him.
Nah, it's not helping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that
Natal, shout out to you, brother. Like, to take that fight, to fight me at that place, that's pretty badass.
Yeah.
On short notice too.
Right.
Because I was supposed to fight Lyoto Machida, and Lyoto, for whatever reason, didn't make the fight. So Natal stepped up.
What about those first few fights after you transitioned away from the Army? Was it hard not to think about your boys and
I
going
felt really
back?
guilty. I lost the first couple of years. I lost a bunch of friends, both in war and to injuries in their souls, and you know, and I wasn't there. And like the what if was always in my mind. Like what if I was there, would have been different? You know, what if you know, like had I helped them in this moment, would he not have been in this position? So like that just ate me real raw for a while.
But I got so many different questions. You're standing, I don't remember, maybe it was the Zarqawi coming back from that deployment, but John C. tells you that you need to go to Ranger School. That, to me, had to be like one of the biggest moments to like check up and decide, like, I'll just let you describe it. But to me, it's like, all right, it feels like a setback because you've already proven yourself.
Yeah, I'm a Green Beret.
You're a Green Beret.
I'm at the SIF, like the
combat deployments.
Most elite unit in the Green Berets. I'm at the Army SIF. And then my boss, John McPhee, who's an awesome human, you know, he's a war fighter, and is like, you suck. You're a piece of shit. You're the weakest link in the team. You're a terrible leader. You don't know anything about the military. Go to this school or don't come back.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the chapter ends, by the way. But yeah, it's a cliffhanger. But the fight in you to continue felt like,
I mean, shame and humiliation is a pretty compelling.
Yeah, you had to check your pride at the door.
Yeah.
But
and when you go to Ranger School, you're slick. There's no rank.
Mm-hmm.
You are Ranger so-and-so.
Yes,
That's
sir.
it. You know, there's no special forces. They all knew who I was, but it's intentionally that way. So everybody's on this equal playing field. There's no, you know, like I'm not wearing my combat patch. You know, you can't see that, hey, I'm special forces, I'm airborne, you know, just got back from war. None of that matters.
Yes,
so
sir.
like you are just as good as that E4 from regiment that is fighting for his job to go back to regiment. You know, good luck. Buena suerte, puta.
Yeah. But you did it. Like you going through those two. To me, it's intriguing to me to think about that moment. Like I've already proven myself, and then you get that news from your superior, and it's to me it seems like a very defining moment. Like how am I going to respond to this? Because I feel like most people either give up or find an excuse away from it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people look for excuses. But you said, I've already proven myself. Like, so am I done now? Like, I got all the things, right?
Yeah.
I got all the stuff on the wall. So, like, do I not need to prove myself anymore? Like, I got a hot wife at home. Do I not need to prove myself to her? Do I not still need to, like, look good for her? You know, like, I see people, and I tell people this all the time. I told Dakota this the first time I saw him. He walks in, he has to work out, and he's fat. You know, he had set down the sword.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, and I say, never set down the sword.
Mm.
One, it's harder to pick it up. The calluses go away. You lose the strength in your arm, your ability to wield it, your reaction time, all the things just start fatiguing and the atrophy sets in. But most importantly, it's a thing that happens in your mind. You turn that switch off. Where'd the dog go?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that guy. Do you remember that guy that peaked in high school?
Yeah.
What a loser.
Right.
What a loser. I mean, he did it, right? Does he have to prove himself? Yes, he does. You have to do it till you die. Like, I have a year and a half left in my 20 years of service in the military. Am I done serving at the end of 20? No. Is Dakota still serving? Is Marcus still serving? Like, you go to Valhalla Ranch. Marcus built a floor over his barn to take care of dudes that are hurting.
Yeah.
Like, that's service. That's
Yes,
hero. Sir. Like, is he done being the lone survivor? No, that dude's going to do it to the day that he dies, and he's going to save as many more people as he can for forever. You know, Dakota, the things that he does, like people don't even know. When Ukraine kicks off, when Afghanistan was kicking off, he was pounding down doors to try to figure out a way to get into country.
Right.
You know, like, those are my friends. I love them. I'm so proud of them. But how old is Cameron now?
Haynes?
Yeah.
55.
55.
Yeah.
Shane's 50.
Yeah.
Shane
Right.
is 50.
Dang.
Does he have to prove anymore? Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day. No matter how big, you know, rodeo time gets, no matter, you know, how big you get, you set that sword down, you lose the authenticity, you lose that position of truthful vulnerability and transparency for you to be able to say, and vulnerability to be able to say like, man, I still struggle every day.
Yep.
You know, like, why did we do what we did in the gym this morning? Like,
To get better.
that's right.
Yeah. So I had a couple surgeries, some injuries, and I didn't rodeo for a couple of years. And then this last year I've gotten healthy finally and recovered, and I've been getting back on. And to be reminded of what that fight feels like when you nod your face is so refreshing and feels so liberating to me.
Yeah.
And to nod your head, execute the fundamentals, and hit the ground and walk out of the arena is just a high that I wish I could never let go of.
But you're going to have to
I'm
someday.
going to have to.
But
Right.
you're going to move on to something else.
And
you're
that's
going to have
what,
to prove yourself in that next thing.
yes.
And you're going to move on from the next thing, and you're going to have to prove yourself in the next thing. And it's going to be embarrassing, and it's going to be humiliating.
Yes,
and
sir.
You're going to lose, and you're going to fail. And as Jocko would say, good,
Yeah.
good. You know?
So that's what you felt that moment in
Yeah.
front. Maybe you did. Did you feel it right away in front of John McPhee? I said
I was
John C,
angry.
but
I was angry first, but
right.
I felt it second. You ever heard
Defensive.
the term full benefit?
No, sir.
I like this. It's something that I've done my whole career. We're out on a ruck. You know, you got 60 pounds on your back. Your feet are burning, you know, because you're walking at like a 13-minute mile pace. So like just slower than a run,
Yes, sir.
but way faster than a walk, and you're moving out. And then it starts to rain.
Dang.
No.
No, we love that.
We love that.
That's
That's
what I
right.
meant.
That's right. Full benefit. In that moment, we are now getting the most that we possibly can out of training. You know, I'm getting the full benefit. Do I want to walk on a good day? Sure, I do. Am I going to fight in a good day? I don't know. So I better be sure I've been as prepared as I can be on the worst day possible. So even on my worst day with the worst environment, I'm still performing better than everybody else, because when it started raining, some people just packed their stuff up and went home. But then there's others that are like, nah,
Yeah.
full benefit.
Yes, sir.
I like this.
That's a really good perspective. I do like when it rains at a rodeo because everybody else hates it.
I know.
That does make me.
It feeds off. I feed off of it. I can smell the in Ranger School. I talk about it in the book. That really cold night on the ambush line, and the guy next to me quit. You know, I could feel our bodies just shivering. My tiny little peckers just vibrating. It sounded like a tic tac just going up against tiny little things. You know, and he's like, "All right, Ranger instructor, I quit. And he walks down to the road, and they hand him that soup. It was the first time that they didn't call him Ranger, because every time up through there, you still have the chance to become a Ranger.
But he wasn't anymore.
But he wasn't anymore because he just quit. And they because they know that fear is contagious, just like quitting is contagious, they pull those fellas right out of there and they get them away as fast as they can, because that's a disease that will spread to everybody promptly.
Yes, sir.
And
because they don't really want you to quit. They want you to.
They want you to finish. They want you to graduate. We need Rangers. You know, we need Green Berets. We're not trying to like be guardians of the tab. We're trying to train people to get ready for the next conflict, the next war, and the next theater. You know, and sitting there freezing my butt off, full benefit.
Yeah.
You could see it. You know, when you read that chapter and you look at those specifically in that moment. As I'm debating in my mind, man, that was a smart move to go down there. He's probably getting some hot coffee right now. Full benefit. I'm freezing my ass off, in the mountains during mountain phase, about to conduct an ambush during Ranger School.
Yeah. So you're glad that all these things are happening just because you're getting the full benefit of training at that moment.
That's
Somebody
right.
just quit beside you. Yeah. How often do you think about that? I mean, like, what else does it apply to for you?
I'm out here grappling with Yako Kalili. He gave me that Polynesian Warhammer, that melee tool right there.
Mm-hmm.
Sick black belt. He's the lead security for Five Finger Death Punch. He goes all over the world with Metallica, like an absolute badass. Been training special forces guys. He's a special operations combatives instructor. He's a MAC-P black belt, Modern Army Combatives black belt. We go out there all the time. We 40 feet that way. And we're on the mats, and I'm trying to take him down, and we start getting in deep waters. I'm starting to breathe hard. He's starting to breathe hard. Man, I just tweaked my back. Could I just walk into my office and be done? Or it can be like, full benefit.
You bet.
You know, I got a choice right now. We talked about it today.
Yes, sir.
I've named that quitter. I've put a face and a name to every time I start having that internal conversation because I'm like, man, I could just be done right now. You know,
Yeah.
like I could just do 9 reps instead of 10. I could just like roll my ankle and, you know, call it for the day.
You bet.
There's a billion excuses that we could come up to be done.
Yes, sir.
Or
You get full benefit.
get full benefit.
Have you ever done security for a celebrity?
Yeah.
Are you allowed to say who?
No.
No.
No, I don't like doing it. Yeah, they got to pay me dumb money to do it.
Dumb money.
Yeah. And everybody that's doing it to have a famous person be their security, they're doing it to have the famous person be their arm candy, which is different than having a truly trained PSD detail. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Like me
Oh,
being,
they wanted you there because you're Tim Kennedy.
That's right.
I got you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Lame.
so you're more getting paid for an appearance.
Yeah.
than you are.
I'm getting paid for a fake bodyguard experience.
But that's kind of cool in their scenario. Like, it's like, hey, I get to hang out with Tim Kennedy, and also, if somebody tries to kidnap me, he's going to save me.
That would be fun.
Then I got saved by Tim Kennedy.
That'd be fun.
That sounds like a pretty cool gig.
Yeah.
But they're just going to have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Dang. I'm going to always wonder who it is. Was it movie or was it politician?
Nope. Never done the politician. Done real rich people and celebrity types.
Just real rich people.
Yeah.
Gotcha. You bet. Yeah.
Yeah. One of them was like real hurt in the soul. Just generally, it was Middle Eastern men with lots of money. And it was a big clout thing to have a GWAT famous person as their security. They're like dunking on me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like these infidels are cleaning up after me and pouring my coffee.
Ah, dang.
Yeah.
But it was enough money that made you, or that's who wants to do it. That's where you've done it before?
I didn't realize it until I got there.
Gotcha.
And then I was like,
Yeah, I'm not doing this
well,
again.
I'm glad I'm charging you what I was charging you because
Right.
this is insulting.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been in just a few much smaller scale positions where it's like I'm almost their jester.
Yeah.
And I don't like doing that.
No, it doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
But you know, that was more money I made in a day than I had in the past couple of years. You know, like I
Right.
also have an incredible family. You know, I have 4 kids, a beautiful wife. So, you know, like
Didn't suck to.
no, am I going to eat my own hat to make sure I'm being a good provider for my family?
Yeah. You bet.
Yeah. You can talk shit about me on the internet. I got it, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm doing the right thing for my family and for, you know, the people that work with me.
Does that stuff still bother you? Or does it bother you at all?
It
People-
bothers me when there's like I have peers that will say things out of ignorance, like Afghanistan. I went there to help people.
Yeah.
You know, nobody paid me to go, and there are a bunch of special operations guys that legitimately thought I got into Afghanistan to post pictures on Instagram.
Dang.
I mean, super insulting and
Dang.
super ignorant. Like so silly. It's so silly to say it out loud where they're like, you know, Tim's out there as like this free reign, like lone tough dude.
Yeah.
Furthest from the truth. Like if you could figure out a way to get Afghanistan, you know, in August of 2021, like
Right.
man.
Yeah.
And
That hurts.
that hurt, you know.
Yeah. Because they were former military type.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm former special operations types
Special ops. Dang.
that just couldn't get past their own. And I get maybe they were hurting, you know, maybe they wish they could have been there. They wanted to help, but making somebody else, like talking about somebody else somehow in their mind made them look better.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just doesn't make any sense to me.
It also doesn't make sense that would be something that they thought was, I mean, like that's a lot of work, not to mention the risk involved, especially when you hear the story in your book about being face to face with them other dudes.
Yeah.
When y'all, I think like right after you unload, like, anyways, I'm not gonna ruin it for you guys. Scars and Stripes, by the way, if you guys haven't, I'm gonna do a pre-roll deal and talk about Scars and Stripes at the beginning of this podcast. But, yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense that you would put yourself in that sort of, I mean, That's commitment to the clout. If
That's
a person did that for us, I mean, like, to me, it'd be like, as an influencer, I'm like, dang, like, okay, more power to you.
Tell my wife, hey, I'm gonna go over to Afghanistan into this little tiny airport called Ichkaya, where there's barely any Americans left, and everybody's dying, and they're falling from airplane wings.
A lot of Taliban.
Yeah.
Nightmare amount of
but
Taliban.
What I'm trying to do is get a cool 511 photo.
You bet.
That's what I'm trying to get.
Yeah, it's going to be good for my sponsors.
Yeah.
It's going to be
like Ohan. We good?
Yeah, so we're good, right? You get it. It's for the gram.
Hey, 1.5-year-old at the time. Hey, 5.5-year-old.
Yeah.
I'm going to go do some Instagram photos.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
That's my job now, y'all. Yeah. But I'm sure you've probably gotten thick skin to a lot of that hate.
Some of it, but some of it still, I'm just like, man, that's just not true. I can't take the time to show you that you're wrong, but you're wrong.
Yeah.
It just sucks.
All these things that you've been involved in, like, it's the most unique, diverse story of anybody I know. Like, I can't imagine, like, being in one of these or two of these situations, much less all 93 of them. At what point, what's those conversations with the Lord like that you're having in those moments? Because I am you said religious man, like I am a Christian.
I heard the voice of the Lord say to me, "Who shall I send?" And I answer the Lord, "Here I am, send me." Mm-hmm. That like that's a mantra that it's unit mottos, but like, what does that look like in practice? I think that if there's bad things happening and you don't do anything to affect it, you're complicit in it. If you have the ability to do good, but you don't, aren't you just helping the bad and evil that is winning? Mm-hmm. You are. Like, either do something or don't. But if you don't, then you're allowing it to happen.
Yes, sir.
And for evil to conquer, it takes good men to do nothing. It doesn't say to help, just to do nothing, and evil still conquers. All it took at Thermopylae was the Greek, the Spartans, to be like, nah, I'm not going to go to the gates of fire.
Yeah.
I'm just going to hang back and, pull my grain.
Yeah.
No, but they went. They said, "Here I am, send me." They volunteered. They grabbed their shields. They grabbed their swords. They went in the phalanx and they fought the Persians.
Yeah.
Like, they had to. So I don't know. And I'm not like sitting here looking for the next thing.
Yeah.
But if the next thing happens, we just like, man, I hope war happens right now. Not that I want war. I don't never want to see war again. But I want it right now.
Correct.
Because I don't want my kids to have to see it.
You bet.
If Taiwan happened tomorrow, am I going to figure out a way to be impactful? Yeah. Is it maybe me going over there, or is it me fundraising off of Instagram? It might be fun. I don't know. But whatever way I think I can make the biggest impact, I'm having this internal discussion in my head that now is coming out on the military side. My ego wants to go back and kick doors and be an operator.
You bet.
Do I think I'm going to have more of an impact helping people on the mental health side, on the recruiting side, trying to inspire the next generation?
Because of your reach now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't like the answer.
Correct.
The answer is the latter.
Imagine. Yeah.
Like, I want to go to the next school,
say push.
Yeah, I want to be a company
push.
sergeant major. I want to say push. That's right.
That's it.
That's right. And, it really hurts because, man, I want to be this so bad.
Yeah.
I never want to set down that sword. But it's at a time where I'm like, I got to pick up a different one.
Pick up a different sword. Yeah.
Yeah. We just got kind of deep into my head because that's something I'm struggling
tough.
with right now.
What sword is in front of you right now that you're picking up?
I mean, this next generation's hurting. They're broken. I think they're searching for identities and they're finding it in all the wrong places because they're being fed lies. And whether it's like gender stuff or entitlement stuff or like accept your body for what it is. No, man, being fat's not healthy. Mm-hmm. You're going to struggle with everything your whole entire life. You're going to have a serious increased chance of mental health, of suicide. You have an increase of cancer. You have an increased chance of every form of Alzheimer's, dementia, all coming from just obesity, obviously heart disease, diabetes. So like, stop telling them that lie.
Yep.
Yeah, you're beautiful the way that you are. Yes, but also be healthy.
You bet.
Okay, that next thing aside, like on the gender thing, just they're being fed lies. It's just not true.
Right.
You can be whoever you are. It's America. I'm going to love you however you think that you are, but I'm not going to feed a little kid a bunch of lies about how many genders there are. There's not. There's two.
Yep.
Beautifully different two. And are there spectrums of how people, like, can we have very masculine women and very feminine men? Yeah. Do we, like, sure, I'll love you. I don't care, but don't feed them lies. You know, and we're seeing a byproduct that right now in the military where we have the least eligible civilian population in the history of America to serve in the military. So the military is looking at not just a recruiting problem because fewer people are coming to the military. We have a culture problem in the military because we have soldiers that are fatter than they've ever been. We have fewer soldiers that are ready to go to war. And then even worse is we would look at a society that is accepting things that will not work in the military. You can't be fat in the military. Sorry. Like, you got to be fit.
Right.
You can't, whatever your personal issues are that you're struggling with mental health, that's not going to help me in lethality on the battlefield.
You bet.
So you got to figure that out before you come here. You're using drugs. It's fine that you do that. Just not too many of you because now we don't have enough people to serve in the military.
Yep.
And don't think that you're going to be safe. Do you think Ukraine cares right now if you're fat, if you're a smoker, if you're a drug user? They don't care.
Right.
They're drafting you.
Yep. You're
going to go to the front lines. They don't care if you're a barista. They don't care if you're in college. They don't care.
Yeah.
You're just going to have to go. And if we end up in a war that we're looking at with China and Russia and Iran and Syria, I don't care what you think that you know.
Yeah.
You're going to be in a fight.
Yeah. What's that going to look like?
Like nothing we've ever seen.
Yeah. It'll look different than the last wars.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want that World War II war again, that big maneuver, but we're going to be fighting corporations. We're going to be fighting ideas. We're going to be fighting misinformation and propaganda. We're going to be fighting groups like the Wagner Group. It's like the Russian private entity that's doing proxy wars and they're doing red flags operation. Like, it's just going to be a mess.
Yeah. 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 But you feel confident in America right now?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. That's when all that stuff started popping off, just the few, like Marcus, I texted Marcus. He was like, yeah, we're good. Don't worry until I worry.
Yeah.
That's what he said. But anyway, politics, is that a sword you're going to pick up one day?
No.
Yeah.
No, not in the book. There's a lot not in the book. Yeah. We curated, we editorialized stories that told a real specific arc about failure.
Uh-huh.
And it's an important story to tell. By no means is that all of my failures. There's plenty more, and there's enough other failures that I hope aren't public and would be public if I went into politics, and it'd be failures that I have kids and a wife that they would have to deal with, and that's not fair.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that would definitely be put under a microscope, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
and things that happen in war, like, it was war. Like, there's things that you just meh.
Yeah. Rather not mess with it.
Yeah.
You can make a difference without it, though.
I'm trying.
Yeah. I mean, you are.
Trying.
I meant, like, anybody can make a difference without being, you are making a difference the way you're doing it. Kind of like what you said a while ago with using the awareness that you have rather than being the one to kick in doors.
Man, I like kicking in doors.
It seems
I still
like
haven't figured it out. I haven't reconciled these two things. I don't know if they're mutually exclusive. I don't know. I think they are.
Yeah. Well, I just want to wrap up with, tell me about these weapons in front of us.
This is a World War I American bayonet.
Okay.
Well worn, well used. You can see how it mounts onto the rifle here. And
so you used this in World War One.
I wish. That would have been a war. Man, trench warfare. This was made in 1901.
Wow.
Stamped. I mean, it's like you can feel that's ready to go to work.
Got that U.S. on there.
Yep.
1901.
And this is just a pounded a Texas railroad spike.
And you made that?
Brian Peller did.
Brian Peller.
Yep. Sheepdog stud.
Jeez. What all do you have going on? Sheepdog response.
Mm-hmm.
silencers.
Yep, Noble Defender, tactical weapons accessories. We make suppressors. And I have my school is right down the road, Apogee. I have an online young men's mentorship called Apogee Strong. So, specifically, if like I've said, if you're not contributing to helping, what are you doing? Are you complicit with the failure of the problem? So I talk about the failure of education often. So what am I doing? I started my own school called Apogee. We're taking enrollment for next year, and then Apogee Strong. Doing it locally, I believe in that. Get on your school boards. Fight the school unions.
So you're talking about like a real starting in elementary, or
That's right.
what kind of?
No, I start in preschool, kindergarten, elementary.
Apogee, like a preschooler can start there.
That's
and
right.
Go to school.
Yep, all the way. By the kids that are in our school can go to high school with us. We'll add middle school next year, right here in Austin, and then online we have a mentorship program that's nationwide. We do dads and sons right now, and we'll add daughters and moms next year.
That's crazy.
I'm not around, man.
No, you're not.
No.
Dang. So you got Apogee, you got Sheepdog, you got and then you said you got the silencers. What was that company called?
Noble Defender.
Noble Defender, and then you said a nutrition.
Mm-hmm. Live Relentless.
Live Relentless.
Yeah. No, we got some over there.
Oh, I see it right there. Yeah. Whey
protein pre-workouts.
That's awesome.
Yep.
You got it all going on.
Trying.
Because I was at Rockers, and then
how great's that family?
That's such a good family.
Yeah.
The first time I walked up to the arena, I felt so welcomed.
Yeah.
And then they have that charisma to them that just makes you want to stand next to them, hear what they have to say, and then be like them.
Yep. I have a bunch of friends that have moved here, Tyson, Sean, and the first time that we were ever with Bobby and we were all wearing cowboy hats, he pulls us all aside, Mr. Steiner.
Yep.
And he says, hey, you guys know about the cowboy code? And I was like, yes, sir. And he's like, tell me about it. And it's like, you're gonna do as you say. You're gonna be a man of your word. You're gonna be a gentleman until it's time to not be a gentleman. And he's sitting there. Immediately, his eyes light up because he knows, you're not just some dude wearing a hat.
You bet.
You've subscribed to the ideas of what it means to be a cowboy. And that family gets on all the time.
I have no idea why.
They're so generous. They're so
idea
kind. Why. They bend over backwards for everybody. They give they never talk about it. The things that they give to and the groups that they help and the people that they support, seemingly endless. I can't tell you how many times I've seen them behind the scenes do extraordinary, paying for teachers' mortgages, buying a car, they're just great people. Sid and Shane and
they also all have that dog in them.
Yes, they do.
And they could be elite warfighters if they wanted to.
Shane's a shooter, and Shane's a good black belt.
Yeah.
There's lots of black belts,
right?
But he's a good black belt. You have to be talented to beat him.
Yeah,
fun.
Well, you run with some pretty tight circles and they all got that dog in them. So I appreciate you letting me come in here. Been visiting with you via DMs, and then mentioned maybe doing a podcast, and you immediately sent me an itinerary, which I loved. Immediately I was like, this guy is different. And but I also realized that this was a big thing for you to do, and that the value is definitely slanted, meaning that you are bringing me way more value than I am. So anyways, I'm in your debt.
No, I appreciate it.
And this is a big deal. You've got a very busy schedule. You got a family, you got employees, multiple companies. And so I just wanted to acknowledge that I realize this is a big deal. So I appreciate you having me.
I appreciate you. Thanks for all you do. Thanks for being a hilarious man. I love your videos. You're a riot.
I appreciate that. Sorry, go ahead.
We gotta get on the back of some wild animals sometimes. So I just got these new bikes. Shane and I I actually don't have them. I don't have them. Usually there's a spear right there and a spear right here. Not throwing spear.
Somebody
like that.
borrowed them.
No, I have them at home right now because I just got these electric motorcycles. They're completely silent.
Oh, wow.
There's no chains. There's no wah. They're 100% silent. They're fat tires.
Interesting.
We're currently working on how to spear pigs off of the back of these.
Ooh. You get them out in an open wheat field.
Yep.
1,000% it could happen.
Yeah, no doubt. Anyway, so we gotta get weird the next time we hang out.
I'm down to do that.
Okay.
I'm down to do that.
Yeah. I'll come out to you. You come down to us. We got a lot of things to kill down here and things to ride. Some alive, some just powerful.
Absolutely. I'm always down. We wrap these up with life advice, just like a one-liner or something that you live by.
I do live by this. You don't get to pick the time, the place, the who, the what, the where, or the why something bad's going to happen. The only thing that you're in control of is you. You might be at Uvalde and you might see that car smash into that little tiny water run out and the dude get out with the gun and start walking into a school.
Yeah.
You got your gun on you today? Or do you not? Did you train last week or didn't? Did you drink too much last night at the poker party? Or are you present and ready to do something? You're walking across the street and, somebody is on their phone. Your kid's right in front of them. Are you present to save them? You don't get to pick the who, the what, the where, and the why. It's just going to happen. I'm going to be in Costa Rica swimming with my kid. I swear to God, it was a heartbeat. And he's 200 meters out in the water.
Dang.
Was I in shape? Was I sober? Was I ready? If I wasn't,
he would have been gone. He would have been gone.
He's gone.
If his dad wasn't Tim Kennedy, he'd have been gone.
There's lots of everybody can meet that criteria. Just being 1% better the next day and prepared for whatever's going to happen.
Yeah. Dang.
That's it.
Well, mine is always give 100% unless you're donating blood. That's all I got.
I love it.
That's all I got. So thank you very much. You guys check out Tim Kennedy. Buy the book Scars and Stripes. You have another book coming out soon?
I'm working on 2.
Okay. I figured you might be.
Yeah.
You got too much knowledge in your brain to not write a book. So check those out. TimKennedy.com. Check out sheepdogresponse.com, DaleBrisby.com, where you can get all your rodeo time apparel needs. So thank you guys for tuning in, and look out for the next one. Please text me podcast at 940-353-0890 and check out DaleBrisby.com. Pow, pow.